2023 has already been a big year for Kairosoft. So far this year we have seen some incredible titles released, showing a promising upcoming future for our favourite indie simulation company. But Kairosoft have been keeping a very secret ace up their sleeve that they have been waiting to unveil. And recently, Kairosoft made a massive announcement that they are working on their first major crossover in the form of a game collaboration next year in 2024. This is an exciting and massive deal for Kairosoft, and it got me thinking, what other potential exciting collaborations could Kairosoft unveil in the future? So today we are listing through my most wanted picks for potential Kairosoft future company collaborations. Before we jump into my personal most wanted collaborations list, let's first discuss the amazing news of Kairosoft working with Doraemon for their first ever official collaboration, and what it means for Kairosoft as a company. As per usual with each new year, 2023 has brought in some unwanted surprises in the game development industry. One of the most notable being the 2023 Unity developer earning changes, which was quickly rolled back after its announcement. Like many game companies across the world, Kairosoft would have been affected by these changes, and they also even held a sale to commemorate the impending doomsday, and it's such a sad sight to see predatory companies trying to profit off of smaller indie companies. Despite Kairosoft's extensive history of over 30 years of developing games, which if you would like to know more about, check out my History of Kairosoft video, Kairosoft is still actually a very small indie company with a relatively smaller team of only under 20 staff. Now let's put this into perspective to Doraemon. Doraemon is a gigantic Japanese cultural icon, originating in 1969 initially as a manga series, but it has since grown into a public figure as large and recognizable as Snoopy and Pikachu. Saying Doraemon plays a significant part in Japanese culture and manga history is an understatement. I mean, seriously, Doraemon is one of the most recognizable figures in all of Japan. You simply cannot miss this character at all when walking down the streets in Japan. There's even a Doraemon bus that some lucky kids get to catch to go to school. Man, I wish these super creative mascot character buses were worldwide. Growing up in Australia, the only thing we had similar to this was the Healthy Harold van. Yes, you would go inside a dimly lit van to learn about drug safety from a puppet giraffe. Doraemon even inspired some of the biggest mangaka names, with Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, citing Doraemon as a big inspiration for this series' iconic devil fruit. And Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, crediting Doraemon as an inspiration for drawing characters earlier on in his life. The fact that this is Kairosoft's first ever collaboration is an exceptional feat for the company, and is sure to be a historic event for the entire business when it is released next year. There isn't currently a large amount of information about the gameplay of the title, but all we do know is that it is called Doraemon's Dorayaki Shop Story. Doraemon's favourite food is dorayaki, a Japanese sweet that has two potato-like pieces of fried bread with sweet bean jam in the middle. Fans of the Kairosoft games will be familiar with previous Kairosoft shopping simulator stories such as Convenience Store Story. And this title looks to be a combination of both a convenience store management game combined with a food store story. This is such an exciting concept for a future collaboration game, and it opens up so many opportunities for future upcoming titles. So with the history all sorted out, let's jump right into my picks of what my dream Kairosoft picks for collaborations would be. In the list I will include both manga and game series, as I like to think there is plenty of potential for Kairosoft to collaborate with a gaming IP in the near future too. Keep in mind, this is my personal rankings. If you have any ideas for other games that you think could be included, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you all think. The sheer scale and size of Doraemon as a brand being included in the collaboration means that almost any game or media franchise could be realistically on the table. I will also account for how likely it would be for some bigger IPs to collaborate with Kairosoft, but for the most part, these are just my picks that I want to see the most. Number 5. Cooking Mama. Kairosoft currently already has an impressive library of cooking games, so how about a crossover between Kairosoft and Cooking Mama? To make this game stand out a bit in comparison to the existing Kairosoft cooking games, the gameplay itself could actually include mini-games for cooking and preparing the dishes. This wouldn't have to happen every time because that would be a bit tedious, but maybe once per dish when uncovering them. And if you are able to uncover Mama's instructions, the item gets added to your menu and can be served to customers. but if you fail the cooking minigame, you'll have to retry it again later on in order to unlock the item and add it to the menu permanently. I think this would be a great way to spice up Kairosoft typical simulation gameplay with Cooking Mama's fast minigame action, incorporating the best of both games. Another way to incorporate the minigame gameplay could be to have chef critics that visit at the restaurant, and you have to make them a dish prepared by yourself with a cooking minigame with Cooking Mama to maximize the dish's points. While Cooking Mama isn't as big as Doraemon, I still think this would be an awesome collaboration to introduce some new unique gameplay mechanics, adding in mini-games as a more interactable experience while managing the restaurant. Coming in at number 4, we have Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is more of a realistic choice, more aligned with the scale of Doraemon's cultural significance and impact, with Hello Kitty being a massive global phenomenon. Known for her simple iconic design and cutesy aesthetic, a Hello Kitty crossover could have a lot of potential for a whole variety of Kairosoft gameplay styles. Some of the potential game styles could include running a Hello Kitty merchandise store and managing it, and it could be themed around selling all kinds of iconic Hello Kitty merchandise such as clothes, stationery, and snacks. Another gameplay style that would suit the crossover well could be managing a Hello Kitty clothier, going above and beyond the existing Pocket Clothier story by allowing you to add Hello Kitty designs, stamps, and graphics to shirts and design them yourselves, alongside selling them in the store. There are already a bunch of existing Hello Kitty games, and two that stand out as working well blended with Kairosoft gameplay are Hello Kitty Seasons and Hello Kitty Nail Salon. Hello Kitty Seasons is an older Wii title with similar gameplay to Animal Crossing, which is very similar to recent Kairosoft title Dreamtown Island released this year. However, Hello Kitty Nail Salon has you managing a nail beauty salon, which is a great new Kairosoft simulation title genre that hasn't been covered at all yet. It would be very on theme for a Hello Kitty game to be somehow related to fashion and merchandise. Coming into our number 3 spot, we have a Kirby cafe simulation game. Sticking to the theme of cutesy art style and wholesome icons, the Kirby franchise has endless possibilities when it comes to Kairosoft crossover games. While there are a lot more Nintendo icons that could be included, which I'll go over in the honourable mentions, I think Kirby would have the best chance as it aligns very well with Kairosoft's cutesy and minimalistic art style. Kirby has a large association with eating food due to their infinite, insatiable appetite. So the game theme could very much so be something related to food. A wide cast of characters such as Bandana D, King DDD, and Meta Knight could also all be included, with the gameplay of the game being similar to Sushi Spinnery and Bon Bon Cakery. There are numerous Kirby cafes in Japan, so this isn't far off the mark here, and I think it would work amazing as a collaboration. And just imagine if Kirby had a Kairosoft copy ability. That would just be the epitome of the crossover. Number 2, F-Zero or Mario Kart GP story. This one was too good for me to ignore. When I think of games that are similar to existing Kairosoft games, I can't think of a better matchup than Grand Prix Story crossing over with Mario Kart or F-Zero. Grand Prix Story is easily one of the most beloved Kairosoft sports titles, and having the potential to include Nintendo-themed karts, parts, and upgrades, unlockable characters, items, and tracks is amazing. To make the gameplay slightly more unique than the base Grand Prix Story, before each race you could be given a randomized item such as lightning bolts, mushrooms, red shells, and even blue shells to unleash chaos while the races commence. My biggest criticism of the Kairosoft sports games is that it can be a bit boring watching the exact same gameplay style play over and over when you don't actually physically play in the sport itself, you're really just spectating it. So having random events such as items that characters could bring in offers a unique way to bring forth more variety in each of the races. Could you imagine that feeling of continually getting second place in that Grand Prix that you've been grinding out over and over, and then suddenly at the last second a blue shell whips by and you are able to secure the first place? That would be super fun. Before we jump into my number 1 pick, let's go over some honourable mentions, as there are bound to be lots that missed out in this video. For our first honourable mention, we have Gudetama. Gudetama is Japan's favourite lazy egg yolk with the attitude to just hang back and relax. This collaboration would be really easy to tie into a cooking themed game, with Gudetama being based off of a raw egg yolk. It could take place in a takeaway shop specialising in egg dishes such as omurice, and exploring how Gudetama interacts with all the Kairosoft staff. The only downside to this collaboration is that there aren't many other characters other than Gudetama itself, so it doesn't have as much potential as a manga series like Doraemon, which have a lot of unique diverse characters. Some other manga-inspired collaborations which I think would be really cool to see could be a Gundam game, which could include constructing giant mecha robots, One Piece, which could entail some kind of island exploration game, and Detective Conan. On the video game side of things, I think Kairosoft meets Ace Attorney would be one of the most unique collaboration ideas for sure. There are two main styles I think would work really well. The first game could be themed around solving light-hearted cases of Kairosoft characters with the help of Phoenix and his friends. Help find who stole Chimpanzee's banana reserve stash, or help Kairobot find where WarriorBot is hiding out. The second game idea could be running a law agency where you manage the Write Anything agency, helping Phoenix and his friends and people that come into his office needing help. And for my last honourable mention, of course, Pokemon. Kairosoft collaborating with the world's most recognizable and profitable company of all time? Come on, a man can dream, can't he? Even though this would be my #1 dream pick, I just can't see this realistically happening with how stringent and ruthless the Pokemon company is with its Pokemon IP. There are so many gameplay styles that can be used for this. It could be a restaurant simulation game in reference to Pokemon Cafe Remix and the various Pokemon cafes in Japan, an action RPG Pokemon and Kairosoft creature collection game similar to the mainline Pokemon series and Dungeon Village, or even a world RPG exploration game similar to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons. Pokemon's colourful cast would be a fitting addition to any style of Kairosoft's game, and I could see Pikachu being included in any of the existing Kairosoft games and working really well. I mean, just imagine Pikachu helping you lay down the most efficient room combos in the Pyroplex, or helping you snap up photos of native wildlife in Tropical Resort Story. The genre combinations are seemingly limitless, and this would be a truly fantastic collaboration with any style they went ahead with. But it's finally time to move out of the honourable mentions, move past Pokemon, and talk about my #1 pick for a Kairosoft collaboration. #1, Monster Hunter. This is my dream Kairosoft collaboration. While the chances of a Pokemon collaboration may not be possible due to the sheer scale of Pokemon itself, the chances of a Monster Hunter collaboration are certainly a bit higher. Monster Hunter is another massive series hailing from Japan made from Capcom. Capcom are no strangers to collaborations either. The potential for a Kairosoft and Monster Hunter game is astounding. There could be so many game opportunities. The theming of Monster Hunter's unique monster designs, in my opinion, would perfectly suit Kairosoft's pixel art style, especially in Kairosoft RPG games like Dungeon Village. In the game, you could venture out on your own to try to add both a combination of Kairosoft and Monster Hunter enemies to your team, building up a team of your favorite monsters. You'll work to build up your team, train them in classic RPG fashion to prepare for powerful boss fights against iconic Monster Hunter monsters like Rathalos and Diablos. Another major aspect of Monster Hunter is cooking dishes to eat before heading out on a quest, either over a campfire or professionally prepared by a muscular cat chef. This game is amazing. Whether the game is themed on traditional Monster Hunter RPG gameplay or more centered around the dish preparing and cooking, Monster Hunter offers such diverse lore material to work from that any adaptation will be full of charm with the diverse Monster Hunter cast and lore, coupled with Kairosoft. And that concludes my personal picks for the next potential Kairosoft collaboration. What did you think of my list? Did you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Kairosoft shocked fans worldwide with the Doraemon announcement. It is a massive step for the company, and I cannot wait to play the new Doraemon game title next year. Let me know what you all think about the collaboration, and if you have your own suggestions, please also let me know in the comments, as I would love to hear them. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.